reconfirm what we have done and then see what we are going to do ahead, what we need to do, take stock of things, what do we need to do better, what we have done in the past. So I hope you guys are attentive because we have the agenda for the day. We have a presentation as I told yesterday. We have about 60-70 slides. At the end of the presentation, there is a quiz. So there will be some questions asked. I hope you guys are aware. And the person who answers most of the questions correct will have a date with Anita Ma'am. A special function in Bombay. So you are ready? Yes. So how many of you think that you will get all the answers right? Not even half of them. Come on, guys. Nobody wants to meet Anita Pai. Okay, we'll call her here and so let's get serious. But before we start, let me ask people, who are the first timers who came to the rendezvous yesterday? Let me ask Naveen, how was the day yesterday?
Yesterday it was fun. No work, it was just fun. We had enjoyed each and every moment of yesterday and hope the same we will try.
What I enjoyed today also. We will have some excitement today. Who else? This side? Lot of guys are. I'll be forced to come and ask. You too.
We enjoyed it.
Who are the people who are attending for the second or third time? Lot of guys.
And this was the best energy that we had.
Thank you. We'll all be rock stars like you were yesterday, right? So for the yesterday night's event, let's all give us a big round of applause for all the people who actively participated, and I think it was simply amazing. Thank you to all the participants and people who helped them to put the show together. I'm sure all the teams must have helped their teams to put it together, and everybody gave their heart out, and it was one of the best evenings that I had in a long, long time. So hopefully we'll continue to keep the talents alive and enjoy your work better. Right? So what do you think that we'll be doing today? What do you expect?
Business overview, what we have done in the past, and the future are ready. Then the R&D session.
Presentation that we have today doesn't actually, it's a little different from what we did the last two overall situation and how we need to put in our efforts to do our best. So before we start the day's presentation, we are extremely fortunate to have our regional head and senior VP Jagdeep Mallaredi with us. Fortunate that he has been traveling like very busy and it's taken out time. He landed very late yesterday night from Chennai. He still came back on time before we were all on time onto the business. So before we start the day's proceedings, we'll start with a small AV which speaks about our dominance and the way we have done business for the last 7 years.
Tough the odds, no matter how great the expectations, for cometh the hour, cometh the challenge, cometh to sidestep a challenge, but by those who confront it with conviction and courage. And they are the ones who taste victory, no matter how tough the odds, no matter how great the expectations. For cometh the hour, cometh the challenge, cometh the men.
As you would know, our journey in ICICI Prudential started at the same time that the insurance sector in India was liberalized and private companies were allowed to operate in the life sector. We were the first company to start writing business along with HDFC Standard Life in December 2000. For me personally, the journey started a couple of months earlier. I was part of the startup team which filed the license application and waited for the license to have come through. So that was an interesting period because there were just about half a dozen of us. We were making the project reports, filing the license, and there was this big race to be the first company out there. We were not the first company to get the license, but we still wanted to be the first company to write a life policy when the sector was opened up. And it was a mad rush, but we made it. So, as I said, there were two companies who wrote policies on that very same day, December 12, 2000. Since then, it's, I think, been a very interesting, very rewarding journey. Before the sector was opened up, two things. One, actually, at the sector level. The challenge was that LIC was synonymous with life insurance in the country. And while private sector was expected to bring in innovation and new strategies to the market, the general consensus was that private sector would take quite a while to establish itself, and that it could be anywhere like a decade for the private sector to get to even 50% of the overall market. Brand advertising that we did, the product innovations we brought to market, the service innovations that we brought to market, and the systematic build-out of distribution have helped us to establish ourselves uniquely in the marketplace and to be considered amongst the thought leaders in the industry. So personally for me, it was a big challenge to say that you were going to get up and set out there the leading private life insurance in the market, that you're going to set standards for the industry and build a world-class company. That's what we set out to do, and to get the recognition which allows us to believe today that we have, if not met all the goals, met a substantial amount of those goals. We have been the leading private life insurer. We are regarded as the company which has set a lot of standards for the industry. And in Asia, we benchmark very well with Prudential's other operations across 12 countries in almost every part of our business. In terms of the size of our distribution, of course, it's unprecedented. In terms of the number of customers we handle, it's the largest anywhere in Asia. Ex-Japan, ICICI Prudential is today the largest non-government owned life insurer in Asia. I think that's a fantastic achievement, and that's the culmination of the last 7 years of hard work.
One extraordinary man. One extraordinary army. One extraordinary vision. To rule the world. Long before a consumer brand claimed that impossible is nothing, Alexander of Macedon proved it. Greece was already his kingdom. But his vision and his ambitions were too big to be contained within its narrow confines. For he wanted history to remember him not as Alexander of Macedon, but as Alexander the Great, ruler of the world.
Soldiers! There is nothing impossible to him who will try.
are assembled here to be led to the greatest glory that an army has yet to achieve. The conquest and destruction of the Persian Empire. A destruction that must happen. For the heaven cannot have two sons, or earth two masters. In over a decade of brilliant military campaigning, the men from Macedon would take on enemy forces much larger in number. But their spirit was more than a match for the enemy's size. The spirit to keep winning that would help them create the largest empire the world had ever known.
Rarely do you find a company coming in and sustain leadership for 8 years. Every single company when they started back in 2000 must have been dreaming to become the number one. But it didn't happen for everyone, right? It happened for us. And it happened not just for 1 year, but for 8 years, year on year. Had some turmoil in the market, a difficult environment, and there is a bit of concern as to what's all of that going to do to our business. If you look at our quarter one number performance, we've had a growth of about 50%. And that's not a small number by any count. And really what is even more interesting is to look at what we've achieved vis-a-vis competition. When we started this year, we had a market share of 12.7%. And we increased that to 13.8 till May. And if you look at the performance of the number one, that is LIC, and number three, which is Bajaj, both of them have actually dropped in terms of market share. Whenever there is a turmoil like this, companies which are innovative, which are driven, are the ones that actually do well. What happens in an environment like this, when customers are a bit confused, there is a flight to quality, a flight to companies that they trust. And if you look at companies that they trust, clearly there is ICICI potential among private life insurance companies which stand out. Given the size, the Fitch AAA rating that we talk about, the quality of the fund performance. I was looking at the fund performance compared to industry benchmark. I was comparing with other insurance peers and mutual fund companies. Our fund performance has systematically been much better.
We are one of the top 50 companies, life insurance companies in the world in terms of market capitalization. So if you look back at our vision, the dominance, in some ways we have already achieved dominance. To be within 8 years, to become top 50 market cap companies in the world, it's by no means it's an easy task. That is clearly showing the dominance. If you come back to Indian space, if you look at for each of the 8 years of our operation, we have been number one private life insurance company in the world. So in several ways, we have achieved dominance within the Indian insurance industry space. To me, what is continued dominance? If you look at the Indian space, not just talk about private players, to talk about the whole industry, including the public player, which is LIC, becoming number one across all the players within the life insurance space. And I do see it happening in the very near future, foreseeable future for me. So that is where what we have achieved in the past has to be taken to the next level.
Firstly, I think it has to be keep up the good work. Secondly, focus on the priorities of the company. Priorities of the company are to be a great global company. And we will achieve this by being efficient, by being productive, by adopting the right culture.
When we started, we had a very clear vision that we wanted to be the number one private player in the industry. That was exciting, but what was even more exciting was we decided that we wanted to be the leader, not just in the private, but actually in the overall life insurance space, and that was truly energizing.
Then came the master move that would change the world. That master move was the invasion of Normandy by the Allied forces. An attack so well coordinated, it caught the Nazi army completely off guard. Hugely challenging in terms of logistics, the Normandy invasion required the naval, air, and ground forces to launch an assault on the Nazis at exactly the same time. The need for precision was so critical, any other army would have buckled under the pressure. But not the millions of brave Allied forces to whom their famous general had this to say, we have the finest food, the finest equipment, the best spirit, and the best men in the world. You men are veterans, or you wouldn't be here. Every single man in this army plays a vital role. Every man has a job to do, and he must do it. An army is a team. It lives, sleeps, eats, and fights as a team. And fight they did, till victory was theirs. On the one hand, the Normandy invasion marked the end of Hitler's oppressive dominance. On the other, it marked the beginning of a new world order.
If you look at our mission statement very carefully, a phrase we have put in there, world-class people, that to me stands out in my vision statement. Whatever be our aspirations, whatever be our strategy, the execution of this aspiration and strategy is extremely important to us, and it can be achieved only if we have world-class people. We already have 28 to 30,000 people in the company, very strong insurance professionals. In some ways, we have created world-class people. And these people, all of us here, have to become next level of leaders and also generate multiple level of leadership under us. That to me is really the next level pending to be executed in our vision. So if we become stronger leaders than what we are today, if we cultivate leaders under us who are there to take this company forward tomorrow, that to me is really the next level of taking our vision statement forward.
I'll go back to what I started my message with. We've been a company which has been consistently number one over the last 8 years. And that doesn't happen but for its people. Each one of you have worked hard to make that possible. It's been your passion, your drive, your commitment, and the overall quality of people that we have that's made that possible for us. And that's really what I want to see on an ongoing basis from each one of you. Continue with the same passion, same ambition, same drive as we go into the next few years and look at achieving our Mission 2010 objective.
Ultimately, we are an industry where the only assets we have are people. We may say that our assets under management are 28,000 crore, but that's paper. Our real assets are our people. What we have achieved is because of the people that we have, because of the team that we have. And if we have the right kind of people with the right kind of mindset, with the right kind of ambition, and with the right kind of skill sets, we will be able to achieve whatever strategy we've set for ourselves.
Being the lowest cost provider of world-class service is a superb goal to go for. We believe that as far as the technology platform goes, we're probably one of the best. We are definitely in the top 10 technologically sound companies worldwide. One of the most memorable moments for me has been winning the Avaya Global Customer Responsiveness Award, especially for the second time. For everything that we have done, customer first has not only been a value, it has been something that each one of you has practiced. But as you know, as times go on, the bar keeps going higher. And I would urge each one of you to continue thinking customer in everything that you do, to live the brand in every interaction that you have with the customer. And if we do this, I'm sure that we are well on our journey to be the world-class service organization.
We have a different set of products for different life cycle of customers. If you look at our product life cycle and map it with customer needs, we have products available for every single segment of the customer requirements. Take it to the next level. Different customers have different types of risk profile, and again, we have different fund options available for different type of risk appetite. The third thing the customers need is access. And if you look at the distribution that we have, both our own as also through our partners, it's clearly the number one across insurance industry among private sector. And that's something that we've built assiduously over the last 8 years. Thereafter, they're looking at better service. And in that parameter, we are clearly the benchmark. There's no other company which is anywhere near us in terms of the quality of service. What we've done so well, it's about the service standards that we set in the industry. It's about the way we use technology and build a brand for us. Each one of them have been elements which has led us to becoming the number one that we are today.
It was said that the sun never set on the British Empire, till one country signaled the dawn of a new world. As the fight for India's liberation from British rule gained momentum, a new mass movement began under the combined leadership of Gandhi and Nehru.
This salt comes from the Indian Ocean. Let every Indian claim it as his right.
And this mass movement snowballed into that great momentous victory, the independence of India.
At the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom. Today, India discovers herself again. The achievement we celebrate today is but a step, an opening of opportunity to the greater triumphs and achievements that await us. Are we brave enough and wise enough to grasp this opportunity and accept the challenge of the future?
In the years to come, an inspired India would rise to every challenge in its path to finally claim its place amongst the world's leading economies.
We made significant investment in the branch infrastructure, and this investment in itself should deliver us a lot of growth potential over the next 18 months to 2 years, and that's what we want to get realized. And therefore, the objective has to be to continue to grow, but grow efficiently by maximizing the potential of our branches, maximizing the potential of our people. If we have the best people in the industry, we should be seeing the best results from those people. And that's clearly the focus. How do we make our branches successful? How do we make our people successful? And if we manage to do both those things well, obviously we will see growth and growth with efficiency, which means we'll have built a sustainable business.
I think it's still only the beginning. We have a long, long way to go. Our aim should clearly be first to be the largest life insurer in Asia.
ICICI Prudential Life stand at a new threshold. Greater triumphs and achievements await us. Let's show the world that we are unstoppable. Let's make history yet again, for cometh the hour, cometh the challenge, cometh the men.
Started with a small amount of people, group of people. Now where we are, it's not that it's all because of the group activity, group achievements, all those things. And the way the bar is now, and where the future achievements and goals are, and how we can reach them. They are showing us a vision and a way how we can definitely become a #1 player, not only in private players, as a whole insurance in India.
It basically talks about the importance of having people, a team which can rise to challenges. So it talks about the importance of having such a team in India.
Yes, and
where he speaks about it's totally to commit the art and also take the challenges and also take the timelines and also to committed to the matter.
Yeah, EV speaks about what? Dominance, right? How we started as a startup company.
Our vision statement is one of the core values that we have, and we have to be known as a team of highest integrity. Right? Okay, that's as far as the the presentation goes, and the agenda for the remaining part till lunch. Do you all want to have a break now, or you can go for one more event and come back to it? You want to have a break? You all really you all people to asking as many questions as possible to clear all your doubts and to ask or clarify, ask, confirm, reconfirm anything that has been bothering you and thing that you always wanted to ask and wanted answers for. Before that, I'll take some 10 minutes and this opportunity to get Gautam, Siomi, Venu and Teja here and thank them all for all their efforts in all of them at one place together. So start with Madhu.
I'm sure yesterday we all of us enjoyed and this is the time that we go back to our basics and start doing well in terms of support to the organization. As everybody is aware that global economy is slow down and all those things. This might be hitting all of us also in terms of customers walking into our offices and talking about their fund values or whatever it is. So this is very important time that we should get connected with the customer. The moment you stop talking to the customer, then it will become more issue and he will start evoking the funds and all those things. So let's avoid all those things. Don't be afraid to face the customer. Meet as much as possible, spend as much as possible with him, and if required, pull the sales team also into the picture so that they can convince better than you if required, because they are the people who have sold it. That is one point. The second point is that S2S. I'm sure everybody knows that is our main agenda for next 2 months, because again February, March will be a huge number of logins are expected. Hopefully by that time markets will settle down. Then the third point is that see, it is here I'm talking about especially the CSMs and BAs. It is your job to drive the team, to tell your teams that these are the 5 things what I require from you from next 5 years. Of course, each and everybody, it's a grade 1 or whoever it is, each and everybody should be aware that their roles and responsibilities. But other than that, whenever there's a time, I mean every once in a week or once in a month, you should have a detailed meeting and drive the team saying that these are the 5 things which I expect from you, from each one of you in this month. For example, I have a specific agenda for this month. Let us say I wanted to be a winner in S2S, and I wanted to have a 2-pager forms to be driven, and I wanted to have my medical sigma to be improved. Like this, I mean, you should understand your team and have a meeting and explain them these are the things which is required. I am sure if all of you can do this and everybody can hold their responsibilities well, saying that yes, I am a member of this team, so I am supposed to contribute something to the team. If you can have this, definitely we all will come up in a big way in March. Thank you.
I think we have seen too many AVs from our heads. And it clearly says that what are the focus areas. See, year on year we have some different focuses. Maybe it changes from time to time. It is as per the company's requirement, and I just want you guys to understand it in terms of you talk about KPIs, you talk about contests, you talk about S2S, you talk about any challenges. I just want to say one thing, that our team has to be the best and to perform and outperform. Thanks a lot.
I think just just one thought that I'm sure everybody will agree that will go a long way in making us Team AP stand out as the best team in the country, is that to give our 100% plus more, day on day, week after week, month after month, to each and every single customer, to each and every internal customer that you deal with. I think if each one of us take that ownership, automatically we'll excel on every parameter, and definitely will set new benchmarks for the country. That's it.
Sorry, not to forget my team. Thank you a lot for all the support from Vijayawada team.
Before I actually go on to that, I've been attending the rendezvous for the third time or fourth time, but yesterday was one of the best, I would say. Yesterday evening, with respect to KPIs, what has actually struck me is that we've been doing good, but then now the challenge would be to move on to great. Good to great is something which we need to aim, and if we want Team AP to actually benchmark zone and state, pan India, we need to actually move on to great. That's what we need to aim now. The next 4 months is there for us to prove ourselves. We've been doing good, and now the challenge is move on to great. Thank you.
Good to great is what we need to look at. And last but not the least, a big round of applause for Mohan and team, because they have been very strong support for the whole service, and the kind of inputs that they give and the kind of initiatives that they take in going, which helps your team to learn, and a lot of inputs in terms of the processes. It's simply outstanding. I think one of the best service team hubs that we have at Government. So it's about 11:50. On your behalf, we'll ask some of the questions. So that you get to know more of Jagdeep and all about him. Josna, can I please invite you to do the honors, please?
I have a lot of surprises waiting for you within this 10 minutes of Jagdeep's session I am going to take. So keep your fingers crossed. Probably, I hope it is a pleasant surprise for all of you, which I have. Last year, for people who are attending this rendezvous for the second time, we have seen this session before with Jagdeep. That was more of a professional. Next 2 hours, probably you can ask all your questions on your professional side. Jagdeep, before I get too personal, I just want to ask. No. You can be assured on that. What was your growth mantra? You have started this company, you have grown with this company. One growth mantra which you want to give it to everybody who's sitting here. All the aspirations, all the successful, all the people who are actually wanting to have huge success in their career life. What is your growth mantra?
Personally, I believe in 2-3 things which have helped me grow in this organization. The first, I think, I would say is commitment and hard work. So I think everybody, whether you're doing whatever job, there's nothing called something is a better job, something is a lower job, or not as attractive as the other job, because 3-4 years back, everybody wanted to only do underwriting. Anybody not doing underwriting was considered a second-grade citizen. So everybody wanted to only do underwriting, and every other function was considered a second-rate profile. But what I think is that in a symphony or an orchestra, every instrument has a role to play. So you could be doing service, you could be doing docs, you could be doing operations, you could be doing underwriting. Whatever role you do, give your 100% into that. And just think that that role that you're doing has a significance to the overall organization's objectives. So you're doing a role which is definitely going to contribute to the organization objectives. Don't get worried saying that only if I do an X role, I'm going to get recognized. if I do a Y role, I will not get recognized. I think as long as you get off that and give your 100% on everything, I think you'll always be successful. Second, I think success, you will have to be also patient to get success. You know, most of us tend to be always wanting to be on the fast track. I think whatever you are or any one of us is in the organization is because of our team and the support that we get from our team. So I think over the last 7 years, I've been very fortunate to have worked with some fantastic teams who've given me a lot of support and who helped me grow. So I think partly I attribute the success to also all the teams that I've worked with the past 7 years.
To sum it up, I can say that even a CPA job is your job. Don't degrade anything. You have to do every job, and that is what is Jagdeep's success mantra. So, who was the best boss to work with? Probably out of ICC Prudential also.
I work only with one boss in ICC. So my boss has to be the best.
So she is the role model.
I think in terms of a role model, I would not actually say there's just one person who's been my role model. I've learned a lot of things from different people. So I would not say that I've learned everything only from one single person. I think I've learned a lot of things from my boss. I've learned a lot of things from my peers. I've also learned a lot of things from my own team members. So I would not really go out and say that I have just one single role model on whom I'm trying to build myself. I would say that I've rather learned a lot from almost everybody with whom I've worked.
That was all my professional questions. Now, I want to ask what Jagdeep was like when he was a kid. Mischievous, notorious, studious. He said he was a last bencher last year, if you remember. But what was he like a kid? I mean, one incident in your life probably you wouldn't have revealed it to anybody. And maybe you would like to blur it out. It can be anything.
I think I put my school life or college life into two parts. As long as I was in school, I was a backbencher, but I was a very quiet student. I never used to make too much of noise. Just that I used to go and sit in the back bench because I probably felt I was very comfortable sitting in the back bench.
Was that your height which also helped you?
I was not so tall then. So I went and sat in the back benches because I probably found it very comfortable. And somehow, I've told this earlier and I still would repeat it that backbenchers are the most successful people in life.
Encourage them to sit at the back.
I'll tell you the other part. So once I finished my school, I was in boarding for 12 years. So from class 1 to class 12, I've been in boarding. I've studied all my life in boarding schools. I've never been at home. So I did my first 12 years in HPS, then I joined BCom Honors in Vasavi. At that time, I had also got admission into Loyola College in Chennai to do my BCom. And I'd been in Chennai for 15 days. Then Chennai was a very lousy place. No one used to speak anything but Tamil. So I found it very difficult to even talk to anybody. The next guy also, as soon as I started abusing him in Telugu, he would say, why are you abusing me? But the guy would not speak to me in Telugu. So I decided, I told my parents that if I have to study in Chennai, I'll rather give up studies. So they said, okay, come back. That's when I came back and joined BCom Honors in Hyderabad. Again, I was very good in class for the first, I think 3 months or 4 months after I joined. I was very regular to class. I was a good boy again. Then I think in September or October, this movie came called Shiva. So after we saw the movie, then we all were of the impression that only dumb people sit in class. All the others have to sit outside class. So that's when I started, getting off, not going to classes for quite some time, and I had 2-3 letters sent out home saying that attendance is below. So I told the principal that I'm always in college, just that I'm not in class, so you can't say attendance is below.
That the whole movie changed the way you look at things. Probably you have learned a lot of leadership qualities from Shiva. So we can take it that way.
Not really, I've learned a lot of things I shouldn't do also from the movie.
Learning is important.
And learning also is equally important.
Okay. What is your sun sign?
And some of them say I'm a cusp, some of them say I'm a Cancerian.
Which one do you think you have more qualities? You have qualities of a Gemini or a Cancerian?
I'll have to ask Linda Goodman.
Okay, so we'll do it on 22nd June. Correct? Then Geminians are double-faced. And Cancerians are more of family types and emotional. The introverts that come on. I mean, which one is that?
I'm not sure. I definitely am not double-faced, that much I know. I have my wife and daughter behind me.
It's finally come out that he has a wife and a daughter who's behind me. So behind every successful man there's a woman. Right? I mean, does lady luck, I mean, did it really play a role in your life, or it just happened that fortune favors play? Which one is correct?
I would rather say it's lady luck probably, because ever since I'm married I seem to be growing much faster.
Alright. Before I continue the session, I actually want your help now, because I call upon my next guest. Please put your hands together for Mr. K.N.V. Subramanian.
I'll pull it on Jagdeep, somebody put it on me only.
You get what you give.
And he is the regional manager of Andhra Pradesh now. How did you start off, and was the professional front very welcoming and the corporate life? Or tell us more about your career.
Okay. When we passed out of our MBS, the economy was at its worst phase in '96, and it was really tough to get jobs then. If you got a job, then you would be probably a hero. And especially in '96, '95, '96, we had very few companies were coming from campus. So whatever jobs were thrown out, people would just pick it up like chocolates thrown on the floor. I mean, any kind of job. To get into any kind of job, that's what getting a job itself was a big thing at that time. So I got into a hero group company as a management trainee. Basically, it was a subsidiary of Hero Honda, and they were into exporting out cycles to US and other markets, and also manufacturing a lot of accessories to Hero. I remember when I joined, there were 3 rounds of interview. The first round was done by some clerk in the HR department. There were lines of people called for the interview. You had all kinds of people there, and then they shortlisted some people. Getting to the first round was good. Then you had the HR manager talking to her and telling her all the gaps. And then they shortlisted 10 of us, and they said we get 5 of us, and we will. Coming out of college and meeting the MD for the first interview was like driving most of us nuts. And the MD was a tiger actually. He was in terror. When he used to walk on the floor, people used to just shut everything and keep quiet, sit like teacher going in the car. And that kind of terror we had. So he asked, "Kaam karega?" Typical Lala's man. He said, "Kaam jo bolenge karega." Then he said, "Kitne din karega mere paas kaam?" अच्छा लगे ठीक है मतलब 6,000 रुपये wow 6,000. I mean, he was telling me as if he did a big favor on me and he was doling out lakhs on me. 6,000 was damn good salary that day. I mean, getting a salary of 6,000 after passing out the MBA was like, okay, whatever you give me a job. And he said, although you're a finance graduate, I'll put you onto the shop floor. So he put all of them onto the shop floor and said, go and think as if you are the owners of that place and tell me what's wrong. I mean, he he made us run through all the oil and trees and everything. In a sense, it gave us a lot of good exposure on how the business works. So then he said, okay, first learn how the business works, and then we look at financial quality and all that. So that's how it began, and from I worked there about 2 years, did all kinds of the shop floor exposure, wanted to finance, did treasury management for it, funds manager, running around banks at that point of time. I mean, getting funds from the banks was like, it was a tough job. They used to make us run, they used to call us in the morning, give us a message, they give you one, okay, and pass one. Out of 10 checks, we pass 4, the limit is exhausted. All those kinds of things, they used to make us run. So I thought, yeah, banking ka job acha hai, people make us run, let me get onto the other side of the table. So after about 2 years, the private banks had then started, and I got an ad in the paper for COVID. So I applied, and then